Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, footage shows scene of deadly crash. Bodies lifted from plane crash site in Lambasa. And over 50% of Fiji's population now reside in urban areas.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The Ministry of Information has today released aerial footage of the crash site where Cessna 172 aircraft went down on Monday. These are the hills of Ndelaikoro in Lambasa, where the plane and its occupants, Pacific Flying School instructor Ilyas Tawalo and student pilot Merelesita Lutu, went down. The shots taken yesterday shows the devastation and possibly the reason of why Tawalo and Lutu were not able to survive. The aircraft lost communication with the airport's Fiji Tower at 12:30 p.m. on Monday. On board the flight was Tawalo and Lutu, as well as Kalara Nderendernalagi. Nderendernalagi was dropped off in Lambasa before Tawalo and Lutu continued on their way to Savusavu to land. However, due to the bad weather, they were unable to land in Savusavu and were returning to Lambasa when it was reported they lost communication with the control tower. And the bodies of student pilot Merelesita Lutu and instructor Ilyas Tawalo was transported to the Lambasa hospital this afternoon. A post-mortem examination will be conducted on the two at the hospital. The recovery teams earlier this afternoon uplifted the bodies, and the police says the recovery process took time, with officers trying their best to preserve the victims' bodies. Officers continue to guard the scene where the crash took place and await the investigation to be conducted by the New Zealand appointed investigator Andrew McGregor. And late this afternoon, New Zealand appointed investigator Andrew McGregor told FBC News that from survey of the crash site, Ilyas Tawalo and Merelesita Lutu would have not survived the impact.
Unlikely. Highly unlikely. Well, based on the brief information that's been made available to me, extremely high impact forces were involved. And it's unlikely, therefore, that anybody could have survived such a crash. It's a very difficult site to access. It would be true to say that many accidents are easier to access, but it's also not impossible for difficulties like this to occur in air accidents. They can happen anywhere.
We now join Eleanor Tarangai View live. Eleanor, it has been a long week since news broke of the missing plane on a Monday afternoon.
Jackie, it's been a long week here in Lambasa, not just for us, but for anyone that's connected somehow to the fateful plane crash. Now, as of right now, as we speak, the bodies of Ilyas Tawalo and Merelesita Lutu are now resting at the Lambasa mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem after 4 nights of being in the cold and rain in the mountains of Ndelaikoro. Now, we can say that there is now closure for their families, who say that it is a big relief that the bodies are now at the mortuary and not out in the jungle. Jackie, I will give a summary of the events that unfolded here this week. After midday on Monday, a plane, the Pacific Flying School's Cessna 172, was reported missing after it lost control with, lost contact with ground control. The search and rescue mission was initiated that same afternoon, and the search was started on the ground. By Tuesday morning, the aerial search was also initiated, as well as on the ground by police and military, as well as villagers of Suweni and also Ndongoru in the interior of Madwata. By Wednesday, Wednesday morning, 2 helicopters had joined the search, doing aerial search, and the ground search teams involved the villagers of the Tikina of Wailebu in Madhuata, who had joined the police and the military on foot during, rather for ground search, combing the mountains around Ndalaikoro. And the wreckage was spotted on Wednesday by the aerial search team, and then, however, there was difficulty in getting, rather in accessing the wreckage site due to the terrain as well as the unfavorable weather conditions. But by Thursday morning, the NFA, police and military, they managed to access the site, and after hours and hours of trying, they managed to free the 2 bodies from the plane, and that was by 8 p.m. Last night. So today, attempts were being made to uplift the bodies from the train, rather from the wreckage site, and they finally managed to do so after midday today, and then the bodies were transported down to the Lambasa hospital by police, and then now they are resting at the mortuary here in Lambasa. The families of the 2 victims are also here at the Lambasa hospital to identify their bodies. And just before I sign out, Jackie, we just hope and pray that the families of the 2 victims, they find peace and solace during this time of grief.
Thanks so much for that update, Eleanor. More than 50% of Fiji's population now reside in urban areas, and this is expected to increase. During the local government forum in Suva today, municipal councils, together with the local government, discussed ways to control urban drift. Kelly Vavala reports.
Last year's census has revealed that the number of people living in urban areas has increased dramatically. Now all municipalities are looking at more development and services to cater for these growing numbers.
Prediction is that by 2030, 60% of the urban population, other people will be living in the urban area, and only 40%. But if the trend continues, then eventually 80% of the people will be living in the urban area. If you see hospitals just close by, universities close by, you know, shopping center, it's everywhere. They provide for people's needs.
Municipalities say they will remain committed to facilitating the increasing numbers flooding into urban areas.
We have a master plan in place to accommodate the growth and development in order to provide commercial entities. We have plans in place as to how to develop the place commercially and to be able to provide space.
Number will continue to increase as people come to look for job opportunities for children to study. As we speak, we have an annual growth rate of 2% in population, so that's quite a significant number.
Meanwhile, last year's census revealed that Fiji had a population of 884,887 compared to 837,271 in 2007. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The National Federation Party today announced its second batch of provisional candidates. Leader Professor Biman Prasad says the new batch makes a total of 40 provisional candidates after Romano Tikutikuda's withdrawal. Anna Ravula reports.
The 10 provisional candidates include some who are related to prominent people, such as Leslie Tikutikuda, the son of Romano Tikutikuda, Chiosefung Avindi, who is Viliamino Porto's brother, and Ridi Damoda, the ex-wife of Div Damoda.
The National Federation Party is proud of its provisional lineup so far. These are men and women of credibility who have set out to save our beloved Fiji and put national interest above everything else.
Some of the provisional candidates revealed what their focus will be if they are voted into Parliament.
Firstly, is to promote inclusiveness and equality in the education system for persons with disability.
My focus is going to be women and youth, and I do feel that a lot more can be done for the youth at the moment. Very importantly, I want to see youth becoming job creators and normal job seekers.
Chiosefung Avindi says that his brother Viliamino Porto supports him 100%.
I'm only going for his vote. If he gives me one single vote, that's fine. I called him up. When I confirmed that I was contesting, And then he gave me, okay, Joe, that's fine. Congratulations.
Other provisional candidates are current Member of Parliament Pramod Chand, Seni Nambo, Herbert Pickering, Tuinandeva Rondongo, Priyanka Ram, Savnil Sangeet, and Apinisa Vatnevevuke. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
Meanwhile, the Damoda Group of companies has distanced themselves from the NFP's provisional candidate Ridi Damoda. Group Chief Executive Div Damoda says the group does not support nor do they have any involvement in her political ambitions and aspirations.
That Ridi Damoda, formerly known as Ridi Bowser, was divorced from Div Damoda on 6th of Feb 2016. Since then, she has been living in her own residence and has her own business. To avoid misunderstanding, Div Damoda has repeatedly requested Ridi not to use the Damoda name, but she continues to do so.
Still to come, Archbishop of Canterbury backs climate fight. And man pleads not guilty for drug charges. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and ndo moi viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi kombinasyon mo tikola ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kina ndo moi viti.
Ya kuyazo sila tali, na gurara mai na omanyi, na ronga. Gitu tali tajiri ang gagawin sa vale, na gudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na ndo moi viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na ndo moi viti na bonga ni BNN.
A heavy rain alert is now in force for the whole of Fiji as a trough of low pressure to the west of the country has intensified and is gradually moving eastwards towards the group. The trough is expected to affect Fiji through the weekend and possibly early into the week, bringing with it more rain and high chances of flash flooding in areas already inundated with rainfall. Fiji Meteorological Director Ravin Kumar says a flood warning is in force for low-lying areas, small streams and areas downstream of Rakiraki, and that the public needs to be more vigilant. Rakiraki town has twice this week been flooded, with the National Fire Authority having to step in and help with the cleanup in the main town area. Kumar says localized heavy falls can lead to flash flooding of low-lying areas, especially coinciding with the high tide, which has this week averaged over 2 meters. Communities living in flood-prone areas are requested to take precautions and remain vigilant. Similarly for communities living in landslide-prone areas. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Reverend Justin Portal Welby, is in Fiji and has stated his support for the fight against climate change. Speaking at his welcoming ceremony today, Welby says the Anglican Church is willing to work with the Fijian government to reduce the impact of climate change. Ali Kimbia has more.
Welcomed by the President of Fiji, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Reverend Justin Portal Welby, has assured the Fijian government of their support towards the fight against climate change.
Fiji is a wonderful and hospitable country. The whānau which we are about to begin is a great step for the Anglican Communion, reminding us that it is indeed worldwide.
Reverend Welby says they will ensure that no one is left out.
And that is my prayer for Fiji, that no one is left out, that all hopes of peace are fulfilled, and that politically and socially and economically there is a liberality and a hospitality as generous as you have shown me this morning.
President Major General retired Chochi Konrote says Welby's visit reminds Fiji of its long-term relationship with the British.
Communal relations that exist between Fiji and England date back to the arrival of the first Anglican missionaries to Fiji in Levuka on the island of Ovalau in the late 1800s. Your Grace, it appears that we've come a full circle.
Reverend Welby will have a 3-day meeting with top government officials, and climate change will top the discussion. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
A conference on the Zika prevalence in Fiji and climate change study project for 2018 to 2019 was held in Nadi today. Professors, experts and students came together to look at ways of combating this global virus, which had also affected Fiji. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Despite the Zika virus not posing any current threat for Fiji, the Ministry of Health, together with experts on the virus, are continuing to monitor this worldwide issue.
How do we make sure that we destroy the breeding places of all dengue-causing mosquitoes? We can talk about these mosquitoes till the cows come back home. We can talk about all these things that we're doing, but how do we take it down to our people? How do we make our people understand the effect this is having on families, the effect it is having on communities, the effect it's having on health budgets and health systems?
In 2016, there were 45 positive cases of Zika in Fiji, while last year only one positive case was reported.
Zika, like we said, the numbers have gone down. Not a problem, but we are not saying it's not going to be a problem. It's a global problem.
What this project is about, we are here to determine what is the effect of mosquito breeding, effect of climate change on mosquito breeding areas, and what are the developments taking place, and how is it growing, and how many, or you can say, what's the Zika virus, dengue cases, chikungunya, what's this happening here in these South Pacific islands.
The study for the Zika prevalence in Fiji and climate change was also launched today. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
A 34-year-old man convicted of raping his 4-year-old sister has been sentenced to 13 years and 7 months imprisonment. The incident happened in Samambula last year. Pranita Prakash reports.
The High Court convicted the man of 1 count of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. While sentencing the men, the court said that children of such age are vulnerable and the crime has had an adverse effect on the child. The court heard that the child was alone at home and the accused used the opportunity to commit the crime. The High Court judge said that the men breached the trust of a brother and the age gap between the two was substantial. The High Court judge also said that he deprived the victim of her natural growth. The man will serve 11 years and 5 months of his sentence before being eligible for parole. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
A 30-year-old man charged in relation to alleged drug-related activities pleaded not guilty in the High Court today. Kritesh Kumar of Nasinu was charged with 3 counts of unlawful possession of illicit drugs and 1 count of cultivating illicit drugs. It is alleged that between October and November last year, he had 1.2 kilograms of methamphetamine in his possession without lawful authority. He also allegedly cultivated illicit drugs. The matter has been adjourned to 16th of March. Kumar was remanded in custody. And in sports, coming up ahead, weightlifters prepare for Commonwealth Games, but time to welcome Rachel with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. $3 million showroom to be ready in May. And in growing Fiji, women earn well for craft show. Stay with us.
Moala rana lika o tikongona taunu singa toka ando talitaka na wakaronga ng Bula FM number 2 na serre.
Ya dora subuli kurnambili. Iborani batukara hambara binaranga. Do talitaki na wakaronga ng Bula FM number 2 na serre. Bula.
Bula FM number 2 na serre.
In business tonight, the $3 million refurbishment of the Esco Motors showroom in Nambour is expected to be completed by May. Chief Executive Craig Sims says construction commenced in October last year, creating employment for over 10 people. He says the refurbished showroom will provide an enhanced customer sales experience and will modernize the current showroom space. The company will also be launching a new charity called the Esco Foundation.
It's headed by some trustees based here in Fiji and also in our head office in Australia, and we'll be looking at a number of community projects. Targeted, well, we obviously have a linkage to road safety, water safety through Yamaha, but there's also other areas like health and education that we can and should get involved in.
The Bank of the South Pacific Limited has recorded a consolidated operating profit after tax of Fijians $474.91 million for the 2017 financial year. This is a 17.65% increase on the consolidated 2016 operating profit after tax of Fijian $403.7 million. While the global growth strengthened during 2017, business conditions were somewhat challenging given the modest growth in the countries in which BSP operates. The group revenues have increased by 11.5% during the year. BSP also extended its business operations outside of the Pacific region into Cambodia, now operating in Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Samoa, Tonga, Cook Islands and Vanuatu. The Fiji Human Rights Institute will have a total of 6 awards this year compared to 3 in last year. FHRI chair says the institute plans to encourage human resource practitioners to be recognized during the awards. Gounder says the main purpose of these awards is to recognize exceptional individuals and organizations who carry out good HR practices.
We now have, under the individual awards, we are awarding a HR Rising staff, a HR practitioner, a Fiji HR manager, as well as a HR executive. For organizations, we are rewarding individual programs, best practicing programs that organizations have. And these are Safety, Health and Wellbeing Program of the Year, as well as the Learning and Development Program of the Year.
And Rocco joins us now with the latest from the money market.
Thank you. The latest update on the U.S. market is the imposition of tariffs on steel and aluminium announced by President Donald Trump. Major metal suppliers, China and Canada, have complained about the sudden application of the tariffs. Because of all this, the U.S. stock market dropped by more than 1%. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq all fell. The tariff announcement added to investor concern about the pace of Federal Reserve interest rate increases as inflation edges higher. After a quiet weekend, we'll see some major economic events that are scheduled for next week. And that's all from me for now. Vinaka.
Thanks for the update, Rocco. Looking at today's current exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar was on the rise against the Australian and the American dollars, as well as the Chinese yuan and the PNG kina. Taking a look at the commodities market, oil prices were down at $61.23 a barrel. Gold was up to close at $1,316 an ounce, and silver followed suit, closing at $16.47 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, $500,000 was earned by the 475 women who were part of the National Women's Expo last year. While addressing women artisans during the Sava Women's Crafts Show yesterday, Minister responsible Mariseni Vuniwanga said this year's total could be more if they put in the extra effort. Sanyani Bala.
After last year's $500,000 in sales, the 120 women artisans from the Kaunrobe Mboa and Modwata were urged to produce more of their best quality products.
Exhibitors, this should tell us that the demand for your products is high. It's very high. It is now up to you as artisans to ensure that you meet the demands while creatively maintaining the highest standards for your crafts.
Director Fiji Arts Council Penny Dawilangi says they will continue to organize craft shows despite the high cost used by the council and the ministry.
A very fulfilling experience, particularly in the sharing of costs and resources. This is part of our service, and this is a calling of government to bring all of you from where you are to this occasion here in Sabsabu to come and exhibit and showcase your talents.
80 successful women were chosen from the show to be part of the 4th National Women's Expo in Suva on the 21st to the 23rd of June. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
And that's a wrap from Business This Week. Now to sports. Here's Jamie.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, players geared up for Las Vegas Sevens. And Fiji boxers eager to get in the ring. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1, इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टकता हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
On the eve of the Las Vegas Sevens, Jerry Tuwai has again highlighted his family as his biggest motivation. The Fiji Sevens captain says he's ready to lead the pack at the tournament and hopefully bring some smiles to Fijians this weekend. Vashnil Prasad reports.
Jerry Tuwai will enter into his 55th World Rugby Sevens Series tournament in Las Vegas this weekend with the hopes of a nation on his small shoulders. But the biggest strength for him comes from his close ones. Tuwai's little family of 2 daughters, wife and parents has always been a motivation for him.
I work hard for it. I work really hard, and you know, for me, it's the motivation in my life is my family, my father and my mother and my family.
Tuwai has never missed the tournament since his debut at the Gold Coast Sevens in Australia 5 years ago. The skipper has played 177 matches to date, and surprisingly, he has never copped a yellow and a red card so far.
And now I'm married, and I have kids now, 2 kids, so the motivation just keep on coming.
Tuwai says his family members have sacrificed a lot for him to be able to lead the Sevens crazy nation.
Who are sacrificing because I'm the leader, I'm the captain of my family, and without the captain of the family, they're like.
Coach Gareth Baber believes Tuwai is ready to lead the pack in the bid to win their 4th Las Vegas title.
The concern for me is to make sure that where we need to be, and with the players, and many people know the Fijian players, is to make sure they're in the right space mentally. And once they're there, they're very difficult to stop, as you saw.
Tuwai is a small, humble human being with a lion's heart when it comes to leading the sport, which is the pride of the nation and unites all. Vashnil Prasad, FBC News.
Meanwhile, a few national reps will feature for the first time at the Las Vegas Sevens from tomorrow. The players all eager to get on the field and hoping to repeat their performance from the Hamilton tournament. Vashnil Prasad again with more.
Absorbing the atmosphere during the captain's run at the Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, the Fiji Sevens players are oozing with confidence of a good outing this weekend.
Defensive this weekend.
Players like Uluiyata Batanisavu, Pauladrani Sinikula and Eroni Sau will play for the first time in the North America. All they hope is to repeat the similar performance they had, winning Hamilton Sevens last month.
Just key to the thing, just simple as that, just communicate a lot and play like a Fijian style.
Yes, we can't wait to play. Can't wait.
There is a lot of expectations from our national team. The only way they can prove critics wrong is by winning the Las Vegas Sevens on Monday. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Fiji's top try scorer this season, Eroni Sau, says he's fortunate to be in the national team competing in Las Vegas this weekend. Dubbed the Sledgehammer, Sau has scored 18 tries for Fiji this season. He says it's been a dream come true for him playing in the national team, and he looks forward to his Vegas debut.
It's my first time in the state. It's been an eye-opening, especially the big states again, like here in America. It's been a good experience, and given the opportunity to go, been selected to represent Fiji in the states, and it's a blessing. And I've been going around the city, and especially just see it on TV.
Meanwhile, All Black Sevens forward Dylan Collier hopes to give it his best shot at the Las Vegas tournament. Collier, who suffered an injury in Cape Town, missed the Sydney and Hamilton tournaments last month. He says he has a lot to prove before the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia.
important for me to try and get back for Vegas because it's the last two before Commonwealth Games. So for me just to get that game time in and be able to perform, it was real important for me to try and get back for Vegas.
Fiji Airways Flying Fijians coach John McKee is pleased with prop Kalivati Tawake's inclusion in the Waratahs this year. Tawake has been named on the bench for the Tars in the Super Rugby clash against the Sharks on Sunday. McKee says it's a milestone achievement for Tawake, who broke into the Flying Fijians squad during the mid-year test series last year.
You know, the benefits of the NRC, you know, he was around the Flying Fijians last year, but certainly playing in the NRC, you know, he gets in front of the Super Rugby coaches week in, week out, and, you know, they start to take notice of the Fijian players.
The Fiji boxing team is using all avenues available to prepare for the Commonwealth Games next month. The Napoleon Tamopeau coach side will compete in PNG next week and will then attend a week of training in Brisbane under the guidance of former Australian coach Gareth Williams. Meli Tavanga reports.
Gareth Williams is an internationally recognized boxing trainer who has traveled the world and worked with many of the world's best athletes. Now he will be guiding our two boxers in the remaining days before the Commonwealth Games. With just a month away to the Commonwealth Games, our Fijian boxers know they need all the help to prepare to the best of their ability.
We will be going to Brisbane, and we'll have some fights lined up and some training camp as well there. So they'll be getting some exposure. The ones we picked, well, we didn't pick them. The ones that qualified, they you know, one has exposure. Some people can deal with it, with not having exposure. Some people can't, and I believe that Johnny can.
Fiji's best medal prospect, Winston Hill, says dropping Williams is a positive step for them ahead of the Games.
Good, slim team preparing for the Commonwealth Games, and we've just rounded up the best in Fiji, and we're feeding off each other, learning as much as we can and putting in the hard yards.
Team Fiji will travel to PNG next Thursday to compete at the Kokoda Boxing Challenge on Friday, and will then travel to Brisbane the following Monday for a week-long grueling session. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
Fiji's weightlifters say the recent Australian Open has given them a good indication of where the national team stands ahead of the Commonwealth Games next month. 7 athletes will represent Fiji to the Games and are focused on winning medals for their country after their splendid performances in Australia and Vanuatu. Eroni Tuinuku reports.
19-year-old Daniela Rainimbongi's golden achievement in last month's Australian Open has boosted his preparation for the Commonwealth Games.
I was ready for that competition, and it was tough for me.
Apollonia Vaivai says teammate Eileen Vikamatana is ready to perform her utmost best when she takes on the best in the world.
She's strong, she's well prepared, she's ready to go for the Commonwealth Games, and I hope for the best.
Meanwhile, 17-year-old Maria Maretta aims to be in top 10 when she competes in Australia next month.
Looking forward to my first Commonwealth Games. I was very excited because it's the first time participating in the Commonwealth Games. It's a big game.
Team Fiji to the Commonwealth Games will depart on the 1st of next month, and the competition begins on the 4th and ends on the 15th. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
2 local athletes will compete with 48 runners from around the world in the Vodafone Lost Island Ultra Marathon cross-country race in April. Running through the rugged terrain of the interior of Viti Levu won't be easy, as the participants will run during the day and stay in designated villages at night. Fiji's runner Petro Manoa says this will be his first ultra marathon, and covering 40 to 80 kilometers in a day will not be easy.
The people in the village will have a clear idea of what I'm trying to say here. This is going through, it's a trek, so you have to go through the bushes and rocks, and it's not even, it's really, really rugged. Actually, I've been hearing some big names coming in. So from my view, I think it's just names, so I'm looking forward to meet them, and I think this will be really a good, tough competition.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather and in new media. Take a look at the soon-to-be-released Sony Xperia smartphones. That's after the break.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo ko lang ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo sila tali, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu pinasabale, nagpunto rongo, varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.
In new media, the Xperia XZ2 and XZ2 Compact bring faster speed, sleek design, Gorilla Glass 5, 4K HDR video recording, and lots of buzzing. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello to you and to the weekend. It's the amazing Friday, though the weather is not really in favor, but who says we can't have fun? But do keep safe in this rainy weather, especially if you are driving. But let's check out the west for today. Cloudy periods broke through and all the daytime clouds will bring about rain tonight. Eastwards from Peck Harbor to Suva, we had severe rain in some parts and that's likely to continue. And up north, more so the same, clouds with few showers will be the in thing. At sea, northerly winds gusting up to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. For the tides, low tide will be at 12:39 a.m. with high tide at 7:08 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:06. For tomorrow, we have showers building up, which means we have a wet Saturday, so take your umbrellas wherever you go. Tomorrow's temps, majority of the centers will be in the upper 20s. And looking further on to Sunday, more wet spells are likely, so our indoor day it is. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked, do you think Fiji can win the Las Vegas tournament?
Yes, Fiji will win this week's Las Vegas Sevens because they had performed well in Hamilton. And I believe in the boys and the team.
Of course, Fiji is going to win the Las Vegas Sevens this weekend. The reason why my answer is yes, because they've got a good team and they've got the sledgehammer there.
Yes, Fiji can win the Las Vegas Seven.
They got the same troops.
They got the same troops.
They can win the tournament in Las Vegas this weekend because they have improved in their last outing in Hamilton, and they will definitely come out firing this weekend.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, bodies lifted from plane crash site in Lambasa. Over 50% of Fiji's population now reside in urban areas, and Jerry Thawai aims to bring smiles to Fiji. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, should buses continue to carry disposable e-cards? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day taken along Maui Bay in Singatoka. This was sent in by Ayaz Mohammed. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, happy Holi, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
Wrong on the Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo ko lang ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo sila tali, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu pinasabale, nagpunto rongo, varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.